Welcome to the Business Growth Podcast. Today I'm here with Gene Nestro, the Senior Director and CFO of Consulting Partners. Welcome to the show.
Thanks. Thanks for having me.
So tell us a little bit more. What do you guys do exactly?
Okay, CFO Consulting Partners. We help companies be successful mostly through providing support to CEOs and CFOs on anything related to the CFO office. So if a company is in a growth stage and needs some help, or they have, someone leaves unexpectedly, we can come in and help them out. We also do light turnarounds, and we have specialties really in banking and financial services, business services, and manufacturing, and
Okay,
SaaS as well.
nice.
Yep.
Yeah, nice. Okay. And then typically the size, what's like the typical size of the type of companies that you guys like work with?
Um, I would say in range from usually 5 million to 100 million. Although
Mm-hmm.
lately we've been working with smaller startup companies as well.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, because generally I see with this fractional CFO thing, it's more like the startup type of companies. Is there a reason why you guys also find, I guess, you get work with the more bigger companies, like what you're saying?
Yeah, we find sometimes the bigger companies have specific projects where they need help. Also, in
Mm-hmm.
many cases, there'll be a situation where a CFO, leaves the firm unexpectedly, and they need someone to step in immediately that can take over. So all of our consultants have over 30 years experience. Where we're different than some
Mm.
firms is we don't really have any junior people. So we're a firm of all people that have already been CFOs. So.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha. And I believe you said last time there's about 25
Yeah,
of you.
roughly.
Yeah. Okay, nice. And then so how was kind of like the growth journey for your business? How's that been?
Um, we've seen a pickup now in business, I'd say in the last year or so, especially around our banking area, and financial services. So it's been pretty good. I would say activity is really picking up here in the last few months.
The what, sorry?
I was saying recently we've seen a pickup in activity right now. I think as companies are seeing the future a little clearer, they're willing to put some of their growth plans in place.
Hmm. Okay, cool. And then so what are some of like the growth plans for you guys for 2026? What are some of like the goals that you're working towards?
Yeah, we're trying to build up our pipeline, and we're looking to try some different marketing techniques and outreach. So we've been really jumping into LinkedIn and some other areas. Trying to expand, I'd say nationally. So typically we're regional in the New York, New Jersey, Northeast area, but we're now expanding. So I'm in Virginia. We have someone in Alabama and someone in Texas. So we're just trying to increase our geographical reach right now.
Hmm. Okay, nice. So historically, how has your lead acquisition been?
We did it a lot through, I would say, personal contacts. So we have a lot of folks will attend a lot of networking events, and a lot of our business has come through referrals from either
Yeah.
larger accounting firms that have audit client relationships where they can't do some of the work we can do, or other
Hmm.
firms maybe that provide staffing at a lower level but don't provide staffing at the CFO level. So we've been doing it
Hmm.
that way, and now, like I said, we're looking at I would say different marketing techniques and platforms.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And then is there any like marketing techniques in particular that you guys are going to be focusing on for this?
Um, nothing specific. Like I said, we're focusing on LinkedIn right now. I'm here in the Roanoke
Yeah.
area. I'm working through something called the Roanoke Blacksburg Technology Council to get in front of some startups and founders. And I
Hmm.
think regionally, we're trying to do more outreach, like these podcasts. We're doing
Mm.
speaking engagements where we can.
Uh, was so you and do more speaking engagements, did you say?
Yeah. Mhm.
Oh, okay, cool. I thought it cut out for a second, but we're all good. Okay, cool. And then so what's kind of like the growth goal? Do you have like a target in terms of what you're looking for, like a number of new clients that you're looking to get like per month?
I would say we're focusing more on trying to get the utilization of our people up. And we're trying to increase that by 15 to 20% this year by looking at a few things. One, obviously getting more clients, and two, trying to get longer term contracts and some recurring revenue.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha. And then so historically, you said you've been doing everything through like referrals. What's like led you guys to now look at moving beyond the referrals? Is that just purely because referrals is not at the growth level that you would like it
Right.
to
We think
be?
we can get more.
Mm.
So we've added probably 5 or 6 people in the last year. So we've increased kind of our capacity. And when you're in a small market, there's a lot of competition in the New York, New Jersey, kind of Northeast Philadelphia marketplace. So we're trying to go nationally, like I said, and pick up more clients out of that area, which obviously
Yeah.
requires a different type of marketing than just building
Mm.
up your contacts and relationships.
Yeah, yeah, it's a whole different ball game. I find from working from like a referral type of thing to doing more like cold outreach type of thing. It's really interesting the different marketing funnels and how that all works. Yeah, I've done a bit of both. And then so what is there anything else other than like the lead gen that you guys are like projects that you're working on at the moment?
Nope, I would say, we're trying to increase our social presence. Again, a lot of us have, over 30 years experience. So we're utilizing some outside folks to help us learn, how to market through, online and digitally, I would say.
Yeah. Okay. And then so with increasing that social presence, is that just like purely through LinkedIn or what is that
Uh,
what does that like look like for you
we're
guys?
trying to put out more, I call it creating content. So I've created a couple documents already that I think will help people. I have one called Modern Software Stacks, a blueprint for implementing them, because I found a lot of
Yeah.
companies, especially smaller companies, they have a collection of software and they're not happy with it, and it's because they didn't think of their architecture. So I developed a 4-layer model to help companies, and so that's something that we'll be putting out shortly. I also have recently written an article called From Whirlwind to Rhythm, and it's how a fractional CFO can help growing companies manage their business really. What type of meetings do you need to have on a daily basis,
Hmm.
weekly basis? Sometimes,
Yeah.
there's really no one in the company that has time to properly to do that. So I would say create more content, and just get more online engagement.
Yeah. Okay, cool, gotcha. And then how do you see like the industry changing moving forward, especially with like the developments with AI and everything?
Yeah, for sure. So specifically to AI, I personally have spent a lot of time over the last 6 months experimenting with AI. So I've used ChatGPT, I use Copilot now, and then also recently Google Gemini are the three I'm focusing on. Um, and what's interesting in it is as soon as you learn one of them, which you think is the best, someone else comes out and does that. I've also looked at a lot of um, other SaaS companies that provide AI services, and some of those I looked at, I now see that AI has kind of taken over what they do. I think there's going to be a real need in the small and middle market, let's say companies up to 50, 75 million. They're going to need people that can help them implement AI. That's going to be the key.
Mm.
I think the larger
Yeah.
companies, your international multi-billion dollar companies, they're going to have an infrastructure in place where they can put internal teams and they can start using some of these enterprise levels. But how does a company at 10, 15, 20 million, how do they implement AI? That's going to be the trick. How do we know AI is
Yeah.
out there. We know we should be using it, but we have no idea where to start and how to put that in. And I think some of our business is going to be helping companies and say, okay, here's the tool you're going to use, and here's kind of what we've seen most of our clients are doing as kind of quick hitters that you can get in place rather quickly. And I think you're going to see a lot of companies really looking for folks to come in and help them implement and use AI.
Yeah, I find that's a big thing because they don't even know sometimes what is possible, and they're doing something a certain way, and they've been doing that for years and years. And then you see, like, well, with the technology that we have today, you actually don't even
Yeah.
need to be doing that manually, mate. We got AI, so it's the unknown that's the biggest leverage. Yeah.
Sorry about that. Mhm.
No worries. And then, so you said you've done quite a bit of research these last 6 months into AI. You've been using a bunch of different things. What are some like the main things that you're currently utilizing AI in the business for already?
I would say the biggest benefit that I've personally seen is using AI to help you build better spreadsheets. So, for instance, if you're in the Microsoft um, realm where we have something called, you can get a subscription to Copilot. And so when you get the enterprise subscription, number one, what that does is it keeps your data private. And number two, it has an agent mode. And so when you're in Excel, you can use Copilot to help you develop a spreadsheet. It will actually make changes to your spreadsheet directly. So if you're
Yeah.
someone that doesn't know how to do graphs or charts. So I built a sample dashboard, a KPI
Okay.
dashboard I built using that. So what I try to do is use AI. Every task I do, I try to figure out what can AI do? Can I use AI for this? And I try it, and sometimes it takes longer, and I realize that's not a good use, and sometimes I'm surprised how it can help.
Okay. Nice. How do you, can you give me an example like how you do that in, how do you create it? How do you get AI to create like an Excel spreadsheet? Is it like you go to ChatGPT and you're just like, hey, I want to create a sales dashboard in Excel, or what does that like look like if you get a little bit more granular?
Okay, so if you're going to use ChatGPT can do that, but you'll have to go into what they call agent mode. Um, Copilot specifically, so if you're using Excel, that means you have a subscription to Microsoft Office. And so within there with Copilot, you just open up your Excel sheet, and in the top right corner, you'll see Copilot. You click
Okay.
on Copilot,
Yeah.
it'll open up a window, and then you go down and there's a little settings in Copilot, and you pick agent mode. And then that will give it
Hmm.
control of your Excel. And you can start with a blank Excel sheet and ask it to do something. You can say, create a discounted cash flow analysis model for me, and it will create it. You can give it data. You can give it, let's say, two tabs of data and say, can you merge this into one data tab, and it'll merge it for you. Almost anything you can think of, it will do for you.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. Yeah, I'll have to experiment a little bit with that. I try to use all the different ones as well. And it's hard to try to keep up with all the new things that is being put out.
Yeah, they don't have that
And
for
then,
Word right now. It's only really Excel that it will take over your Excel, but you just have to set it to agent mode.
okay. And then, so how do you see like things changing for how you like run your business with AI?
Um, I think you'll see us start morphing into using AI to reach out to contacts. So right now we have a relatively manual process. When you get a new contact, you'll need to add it to Outlook, and then it gets pulled into HubSpot. And periodically we'll send out newsletters or do LinkedIn posts. I think you'll see us use
Yeah.
AI to automate that process and do a more regular and focused outreach. So,
Yeah.
AI is perfect for
Okay.
that, really.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. And then a question I always like to ask as well is like, so what is something that's like working really well for you guys in the business with what you're doing? And then what is one of the things that's like not working as well as what you would like?
I would say, our folks that are going out on a regular basis to networking meetings, I think that's going really well. I think they've really honed in what are the appropriate meetings to go to, what's the best way to follow up, and we're seeing, increased volume from that. I would say probably what we're still working on improving is how we interact digitally. So we've been doing a lot more on LinkedIn, and we've been really trying to we use a product called HubSpot for our CRM, and we're really trying to start to utilize that a little more efficiently.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. Well, I know we're starting to run out of time here, so let's finish on what's been some of like the most valuable lessons in business that you've learned so far from like running this.
I would say, follow up on all your leads, because sometimes the leads that you think are going to be really good turn out not to be good. And sometimes that person that you meet and you just spoke to for a little bit and maybe didn't take a lot of notes on, sometimes that actually, comes to fruition more. So I would say follow up on all leads, all contacts, and use AI to help you.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, that's very true. It's always funny, yeah, the what can happen. Some like you said, you expect them to be good, some you don't.
Right.
So
Yep.
yeah, definitely follow up with everyone. Have a good CRM that you know also what's happening. You have all the notes and stuff. It yeah makes it a lot easier. Well, it's been great having you on the show. Where can people go to find out a little bit more about you and like what you guys are
Sure.
doing?
So we're on LinkedIn under CFO Consulting Partners, and also our webpage is at CFO Consulting Partners on the web. So they're the two probably best places. Or you can reach out to me directly on LinkedIn. Again, my name's Gene Nestro, and probably LinkedIn is probably the easiest way to get in touch with me.
Okay, awesome. Well, I'll include the link in the show notes below so people can
Great.
reach you if they want. I appreciate you coming on. You guys have been listening to the Business Growth Podcast. Until next time, keep growing.